Hello friends, back with me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going on an exciting journey back in time, all the way to ancient France, to meet a very special saint. His name is Sulpitius Severus, and his feast day is on January 29th. Now Sulpitius wasn't a king or a knight in shining armor, but he was a hero in his own way. He was a gifted writer who used his talents to tell amazing stories about God and his saints. Are you ready to hear his story? Let's begin. Imagine living over 1600 years ago in a part of the world called Aquitaine, in what we now know as France. Our Saint Sulpitius Severus was born there into a very wealthy and important family. Because his family was noble, he got the best education. He was super smart and especially good with words. He studied hard and became a famous lawyer. Everyone knew him. He was successful, had a lot of money, and was married to a woman he loved very much. From the outside, it looked like he had everything anyone could ever want. But then, something very sad happened. His dear wife passed away unexpectedly. Sulpitius was heartbroken. This sad event made him think very deeply about his life. He looked at all his success, his fame, and his wealth, and he realized that none of it could fill the emptiness in his heart. He started to wonder what is truly important in life. He began to search for something more, something that would last forever. It was during this time of searching that Sulpitius heard about a very holy man named Martin. This was Saint Martin of Tours, a kind and humble bishop who lived a simple life dedicated to God. Saint Martin was famous for his miracles and his deep love for the poor. He was 78 years old when he met Sulpitius Severus. Sulpitius was so inspired by Martin's example that he decided to make a huge change. He gave up his fancy career as a lawyer, said goodbye to his wealth, and chose a new life. He wanted to live a simple, quiet life of prayer, just like Saint Martin. Sulpitius became a devoted friend and follower of Saint Martin. He spent a lot of time with him, listening to his teachings and watching him perform amazing acts of kindness and faith. Sulpitius was so amazed by Martin's holiness that he thought, the whole world needs to know about this man. Since Sulpitius was such a talented writer, he knew exactly what to do. He picked up his pen and started writing a book. This book was called The Life of Saint Martin, or in Latin, Vita Sancti Martini. In this book, he wrote down all the incredible stories he knew about his friend. He described how Martin, who was once a Roman soldier, famously cut his own cloak in half with his sword to share it with a poor man freezing in the cold. He wrote about the miracles Martin performed, the wise things he said, and how he always stood up for what was right. This book became incredibly popular. It was one of the very first biographies ever written about a saint. People all over the world read it and were inspired by Saint Martin's story of courage, charity, and faith. Sulpitius's writing was so powerful that it helped spread devotion to Saint Martin far and wide. He showed everyone what it looked like to be a true hero of God. Through his book, Sulpitius taught people that a holy life wasn't just for monks in a monastery, but for everyone who chooses to follow Jesus with their whole heart. His book became a model for how to write about saints for centuries to come. He basically invented the genre we call hagiography, which is just a fancy word for writing about the lives of saints. But Sulpitius didn't just write about Saint Martin. He also wanted to show that the Bible's stories and the history of God's people were just as exciting and important as any other great story. So he wrote another big book called the Chronica, which means sacred history. In it, told the history of the world from the very beginning, from creation all the way to his own time. He wrote it beautifully, using all the skills he learned as a lawyer and a scholar. He wanted to prove that the story of faith was a true, powerful, and elegant story worth telling. Now, you might think that writing about a saint would be easy, but sometimes, even good people have critics. Some people didn't believe Saint Martin was as holy as Sulpitius said he was. One time, a fire broke out by accident, and Saint Martin was slightly injured. Critics said, "See? If he were really a holy man protected by God, he wouldn't have been hurt at all." Sulpitius heard this and knew he had to defend his friend's honor. He wrote a letter to a man named Eusebius to set the record straight. He explained what really happened. He described how the fire was so huge and the flames were so fierce that anyone else would have been terribly burned, but Saint Martin was spared. He only had minor injuries, which was a miracle in itself. Sulpitius argued that this event didn't show a lack of God's protection. It showed the power of God's protection. He used his writing skills not just to tell stories, but to defend the truth and protect the reputation of his holy mentor. As he got older, Sulpitius chose to live a very quiet and secluded life. He spent his days in prayer and reflection. There's a story that says late in his life, he might have been influenced by some incorrect teachings, but as soon as he realized his mistake, he felt very sorry. To show how much he repented, he reportedly took a vow of lifelong silence. This shows us his incredible humility. Even after all his fame and success as a writer, he was willing to be silent to grow closer to God. He understood that being humble is one of the most important parts of being a true follower of Jesus. So, what can we learn from Saint Sulpitius Severus today? His story teaches us so many wonderful things. First, it shows us that our talents are gifts from God. Sulpitius was a great writer, and instead of using his skill just to make money or become famous, he used it to glorify God. He wrote stories that inspired people and helped them grow in their faith. What are your talents? Maybe you're good at drawing, singing, telling jokes, or being a good friend. Whatever your gift is, you can use it to bring joy to others and to serve God, just like Sulpitius did with his writing. Second, his life is a powerful story of conversion. He had everything the world considers important: money, a great job, and social status. But he realized that true happiness isn't found in those things. It's found in a relationship with God. He was brave enough to leave his old life behind to follow a new path of simplicity and prayer. This reminds us that it's never too late to turn to God and put Him first in our lives. And third, Saint Sulpitius teaches us about the importance of humility. He defended his friend Saint Martin with passion, but when he himself made a mistake, he was quick to repent and seek forgiveness. He wasn't too proud to admit he was wrong. Humility is about knowing that we need God in everything we do. Saint Sulpitius Severus was a historian, a writer, and a monk, but most importantly, he was a man who fell in love with God and dedicated his entire life to sharing that love with the world. His writings preserved the memory of early Christian heroes like Saint Martin and helped shape the way we tell stories of faith even today. He showed that a pen can be just as mighty as a sword when it's used for a good purpose. So, next time you write a story, draw a picture or share something you've learned. Think of Saint Sulpitius. Remember that using your gifts to share goodness and truth is a beautiful way to live a holy life. He reminds us that our stories matter, and when we tell stories of faith, hope, and love, we help light up the world. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about the amazing Saint Sulpitius Severus. I hope his story inspired you as much as it inspires me. Don't forget to use your own special talents to make the world a better place. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more saint stories for kids. Please consider also becoming our member or giving a one-time donation through Super Thanks to support us. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. We'll see you next time. Bye for now, and God bless you always.